Bruchim Habaim. Welcome to the first lesson of Aramaic. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you all the alphabets and some words from them. So let's get started. The first letter is Aleph. It gives the sound A, like in the word Av, which means father. The next is Beth. It gives the sound B, like in the word babaga, which means parrot. The next is Gimel. It gives G sound, like in the word God, which means wall. The next is Daleth. It gives the sound the, like in the word Debori, which is bee. The next is Hey. It gives the sound h, like in the word halblaba, which is a kind of plant. The next is wow. It gives the sound wo. Unlike Hebrew, it gives wo sound, like in the word warda, which means rose. The next is Zain. It gives the sound z, like in the word zurna, which is a flute. The next is Heath. It gives the guttural h sound, like in the word chagav, which is a grasshopper. The next is death. It gives the sound t. It is harder sound of t, like in the word tva, which means good. The next is yod. It gives the sound y, like in the word yona, which means dove. The next is kaf. It gives k sound, like in the word kaf, which is spoon. The next is lamed. It gives l sound, like in the word lambda, which means ox god, which is a tool. The next is mem. It gives sound, like in the word maya, which means water. The next is noon. It gives sound, like in the word naghma, which means melody. The next is samech. It gives s sound, like in the word sifar, which means book. The next letter is Ain. It is the guttural form of Aleph. It gives the sound, and the word from it is Adha, which means assembly. The next is Pe. It gives P sound, like in the word Pardes, which is an orchard. The next is Tzade. It gives Ts sound, like in the word tsa, which means plate. The next is qaf. It is guttural form of q, like in the word qawiya, which means container. The next is resh. Unlike Hebrew, it is trilled like r, and the word from it is ruza, which means rice. The next is sheen. It gives sh sound, like in the word shaheen, which means falcon. The next is seen. It gives the sound s, like in the word safa, which means lip. The next is tau. It gives the sound, like in the word tlag, which means frost. So we came to the end of our lesson. If you like this video, make sure to like, share and subscribe for upcoming updates. Modena Lechon.